Good evening, dear friends. Thank you for waiting. We had to move this up a little bit, half an hour from our usual time, because Mrs. L was involved in one of the greatest webinars ever for her Lynn's Warriors educational programs are incredible. Tomorrow she's going to be doing one, which we'll tell you about after the fact. Early. She'll be talking about with kids and really going out there into the community. So I said, you know what? You spend all the time you want. We'll put this off for half an hour, which is terrific. Couple of things I noticed. In addition, as I was about to go on, ladies and gentlemen, I had my coffee in my official Lionel Nation mug, and I jiggled or hit my arm, and the coffee poured on my lap and began to be soaked up and wicked by my pants at the time, which happened to be of a cloth nature, as in most clothing is. It reminded me of the 1994 case of Stella Liebeck, the McDonald's lady, which no one knows anything about. If you ask most people, they will say, oh, that was that stupid case where this stupid woman was burned because of McDonald's coffee being hot. And after all, coffee had to be and has to be hot, or else you'll send it back. So what did she expect? And this is what you hear, which is just like anything else you hear, like with, Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the beef tallow or seed oils. You'll hear a little morsel in ort of the information, and then you'll extrapolate it, missing completely what the story was. I'm not going to go into the Stella Liebeck story, but it was horrific. She had to have skin debrided from her genitourinary, vulvar, and perianal regions. Debrided. The most horrifying pain you can imagine. And the coffee was so hot. They kept warning people. Even McDonald's people said, listen, you can't serve people boiling coffee. And they said, but we have to, because if we don't serve it boiling, they'll call and they get upset. They said, you're going to kill somebody. What if somebody drinks this? They're going to burn their tongue, their mouth. But yet nobody knew anything about the story. Nobody knew anything about what had happened. The fact that they had offered to settle, but later. Anyway, but I always talk about the Stella Liebeck story, 1994, I believe. And it's one of my examples of how people don't know anything. They don't know the story. They don't know the facts of the case. They know a little bit, and that's all it takes. Another thing I noticed, which is interesting, and I learned something which is fascinating. For one particular reason, I had was just watching and on my YouTube channel, and I don't know how these things pop up sometimes. Have you noticed women chopping wood in the forest is apparently a big deal now? There's a number of women. Some are, it's YouTube, it's clean, but some are scantily clad, some aren't. Then you have men chopping stumps, trees, just chopping wood. There's this whole genre of wood chopping. How much wood could a wood chop? Anyway, so as I'm watching this, lo and behold, my good friend Anthony Cumia comes up. And Anthony Cumia does one of the best renditions. He would have been a wonderful lawyer because he explains, explicates, expatiates, limbs, describes perfectly this particular bout or this problem he's having, this dispute he's having with his old partner, Opie, and Jim Norton. Now, normally, I don't care anything about that, but it was so compelling. He was such a natural explainer that I promise you, if you listen to 5 minutes of this, you will hate Opie, and you won't even know who he is. You'll say, I want to find this guy and give him a piece of my mind, because he was that good at explaining it. And what was interesting about it was, what I was learning is how we love to hear interpersonal fights. And we love to hear this. That's why tonight, Rosie O'Donnell self-deports to Ireland. But did anyone ever notice? This is one of the stories. But we love this. And it's a story which I was listening to our Judge Napolitano was talking to Sergei Lavrov. Well, actually, Sergei Lavrov was lecturing, but they're talking to this, and they're talking to this, and they're talking about Colonel McGregor. And I'm talking about Rosie O'Donnell because it's interesting. It's interesting. Why? Because we despise her. Just like the story with Opie and Anthony Cumia, it's interesting. It's not important. Nobody dies. There's no war. It's not going to be the subject of a dissertation, but it's interesting. And that's why the bottom line of my show here is it may not be important. It may not matter. But by God, it's interesting. You'll say, that's kind of interesting. Certain things are kind of interesting. I find interpersonal things fascinating. And I could spend forever talking about things that are important. Like going back to this, Anthony and Opie. They're like a divorced couple. And I think Anthony's moving on. He's the talent. Put it this way, he is the talented person of that moiety, without a doubt. But even after all these years, it's like this Opie is like this scorned, bitter ex-wife, and they're arguing. I find it fascinating. And by the way, one more thing while we're on the subject. Wait a minute. JTE's got something to say. I know what you're saying. Is it important this time? Well, we'll see. JTE says, you said no to going on Cumia's AM New York radio show. Very good. Very good. Okay, my friends. Now, let's talk about something else. But I will love to go on his show, his regular compound media show. He doesn't have enough time. That's a long story. But I will tell you one thing about Anthony. Let me explain this, and we're going to work this in, and we're going to talk about Rosie. Years ago, I remember going on his show, and I said, there's this thing called geoengineering. And geoengineering is sometimes referred to as chemtrails by people who are not in the know. And he did not have anything to do with the notion of this. He said, that's ridiculous. He was very cordial, whatever. He said, that's ridiculous. These are merely condensation trails, contrails from a plane. These are condensation from a plane. Okay? Okay. And it's water vapor. I said, you think that's water vapor? This water vapor that spreads out over the horizon, over the stratosphere, dims the sun, creates a kind of a diaphanous, almost like a spider web cheesecloth kind of a fog. You think that's water vapor? Seriously? And I don't know what happened later on. It was very cordial. I said, no. I said, this is spring. Sometime later, I forget, whatever, a couple of times we talked, he said, you know what? I got to stand corrected. You were absolutely right. And he was showing me pictures of World War II. It's like, yes, there is condensation trail. They have B-52s. But this does not spread out over Germany and dim the light. But I did show him this, which came up today, and I want to bring this to your attention and make sure it's on my YouTube or X channel, as it were. I want you to make sure you keep this, bookmark this, as we say in the business, bookmark this, in case any of your friends say, that's condensation, that's a conspiracy theory. Remember, chemtrails is listed as a conspiracy theory. Wikipedia and all those phony factual outlets call them conspiracy theories. But geoengineering, that's legitimate. That is given all the attention and the validity. But let's watch something in a minute, shall we? Let's watch this and pay attention to this one. This is a good one. Now watch this. This is the plane. Chemtrails are turned off. By the way, you can see all of the stuff out there. Now watch. All of a sudden, see that? Oh, that's just water vapor. That's from the heat of the engine and the coolness of the stratospheric, whatever. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. It just turned off. I think that was because they were done spraying. One more time. See, they turned it off. What was that about? How did that work? And you can see those long plumes. That's geoengineering. Those are plumes. That's stratospheric. Now watch this. Watch. And there it goes. Now, how in the name of God would that ever happen? How would that ever happen if it was water vapor? Big Dick says, irrefutable, it's budgeted like USAID. You can see it, my friend. Thank you. You can go and just read it for yourself. You just read it. I wish Bobby Kennedy would talk about that. But, so there you go with that one. Today was an incredibly fascinating day. Did you know this? Did you know? Got a lot to show you today. Did you see? You're going to love this one. Now, let me show you. And I want you to check out this. Michelle Obama. I did one today on her. I hope you saw that. Did you see my piece on Michelle Obama? By the way, I am one of the few people. I don't have a beef against Michelle Obama. Not in the least. None. I don't know. Some people I think they really despise her for reasons. I don't know. And and I know what people say. The whole big mic and, there's no evidence of this whatsoever. But I wanted to show you something because because their marriage is a joke. And I find that fascinating. Why? Because, that's something that people can relate to. People know family members and people who've been divorced. Hell, you might have as well. And this is the link, by the way. This is the link to hers. But watch this very, very carefully. This is very odd. She is on with her brother. And I just want you to watch this and tell me what your reaction is. And I want you to get a good look of her at her brother and tell me what you think, okay? Okay.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
And we just posted the trailer if you want to check it out.
Check it out. Thanks, you guys. See you soon.
Isn't he interesting? Not so much her. I swear to you, you're going to think I'm crazy. I know he's bald-pated, as it were. He kind of looks like that Ayanna Pressley. Looks like he has alopecia. But he also, I thought, and I know he's not. I know this is wrong. But I thought if I saw this picture, I'd say that's a woman. But I know he's not. But just one more thing.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here.
Isn't that interesting? I'm just saying. I don't mean to cause any problem. Not that there's anything wrong with it. By the way, Big Dig has a thumbs up. Thank you, Big Dicky. Appreciate that. Now, she has her new podcast. Here's something interesting where she talks about Barack in the past tense. I don't know if you caught this, but I found this to be most interesting.
Through 8 years in the White House without my big brother. I
couldn't have gotten through 8 years in the White House without my big brother. Not with my husband, but my big brother.
Well, I couldn't have gotten through 8 years in the White House without my big brother. That's another sort of unusual aspect to our lives, our relationship, was this whole, being married to the president of the United States.
Seems rather past tense, doesn't it?
Thing.
Yeah.
that none of us kind of banked on. I mean, we knew Barack was smart and, ambitious, but, I think, but you talked me into supporting his run.
I did.
Wow. Isn't this interesting? Now, there's something, the whole tenor of this is very odd. Very odd. Does it matter? Well, let me ask you. Is it interesting to you? Look at this phony picture. Look at that one. I've seen better pictures. Please, I don't want to get into looks. For God's sake, I don't want to get... But, whoa, man. Now, isn't that interesting? And one of the reasons why it's interesting is that there's something about people who are bullshit artists that I find interesting. I find it always fun to expose people who are just fake, phony, fake, artificial, and belabor, or I should say labor, under this idea that somehow they're interesting, that they're fascinating, that we hang on to every word they say, that we care, that she's interesting and exciting and sexy and smart, and her arms, and remember they talked about, what they called her guns. Her guns. Oh, she's so good. Look, I'm not talking about people's looks. That's look, Bess Truman was no, but she didn't really, I didn't believe that one. I look at Trump and Melania. I don't know them, but I look them as being, this is it. I don't think they're putting on an act. I think this is the way they've been like this forever. I don't think that this is the act. They both have they bring their own sensibility. She's got the kind of the Eastern European cool. He's got his thing, and whatever it is. And I don't immediately look at them and say, it's fake. It's fake. I don't. This one I do. This one has been inauthentic since day one. And if you think that there was nothing to the birth certificate story, if you think this was just made up out of thin air, you don't know anything. Believe me when I tell you, that you don't know what the facts are. Now, some other great stuff we had today, which was terrific. Wonderful stuff. First and foremost, I want to introduce you to somebody, and I want to get his name right. He's a real paquete, as we say in West Tampa. A real jode. This guy is just absolutely no good. No good in my book at all. I don't care for him in the least. And his name is, let me see if I can get this. Hang on. Let me see. Oh, yes. His name, hang on a minute. His name is Zoran. Well, let me get the whole story. Let me get the guy's name. I want to be good about this. Let me get his name. Zoran. Here we go. His name is Zoran Mamdani. Zoran, we'll introduce you to Zoran. Zoran Mamdani. He's a New York assemblyman and a mayoral candidate. And when Tom Homan is there, he thought he would act like a come mierda in front of everybody. Mamdani publicly challenged Homan's stance on immigration, particularly regarding the arrest and potential deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, a legal permanent resident. Homan was in Albany to critique New York's sanctuary state policies. We'll talk about that one. As far as I'm concerned, nobody should be removed or whatever it is merely because they have an opinion, which is not appreciated so long as it does not involve the intentional planning or conspiracy to commit violence or whatever. So anyway, so now that I've explained that to you, here is, wait a minute, Kelly McKinnon. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly's got a super sticker, by the way. This is, as we say in West Tampa, come mierda, making a stink, trying to get your attention, and trying to endure you to his cause. Okay. He's real tough. He's really trying to get past. He's really trying to get past. You notice that? It's like, hold me back. Hold you back like this. What are you talking about? Look at this. One more thing.
How many New Yorkers are not charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How
Now, let me show you. This is great. Let me show you, if I could. Let me show you Tom Homan's response when he comes out of an office munching on an apple as nonchalant as one could be. Look at this security detail. Look at these guys. There's Tom Homan. You'll see Tom. There he is. He's walking by, eating an apple. There he is. He couldn't care less. Got the New York State Troopers there. Puntos. There we go. Now watch this. What's your take? What's your take? Tell me what you think. There he is. There he is. Imagine his breath yelling at you like that. Asshole. Okay. Here we go. By the way, that's in the state capitol. It's beautiful in Albany. You should see this place. I mean, it's really, really something. Now, let me ask you this question, and this is the most important thing I can ask you. If you watch these people for the first time, do you feel an endearing kind of a connection to these people? Do you feel like, I want to hear more about them? I like them. I like their take. You know what? That's my kind of, yeah, let me hear more. I feel sorry. Or do you feel like whoever these jerk-offs are, you can't stand them? You despise them. Isn't that funny? Don't you notice that? Because if I didn't know better, I would say, I despise these people. They make me sick, these people. And that's precisely what we're talking about right now. That's the issue. If you're not going to win people over, what's the point? Now, they've got some good, I'm telling you right now, I've got some good, oops, hang on. They make a lot of good points. And I think at some point we're going to be talking to, I think tomorrow, maybe with our friends on Redacted about this. But how you respond, I would say, first of all, you didn't do anybody any good or any favors with that particular type of behavior. Now, here's Tom Homan talking about this, because they always talk about the missing children or the children who are separated from their parents. Listen to this.
I always hear all the time, family separation. Homan's the godfather, family separation.
Now, Tom Homan, bless his heart, is one of the most inarticulate speakers. He's like he's got something in his mouth, like potatoes or something. And it's not his fault. He speaks with a sincerity that's next to none. But sometimes it's hard to make out what he's saying.
I always hear all the time, family separation. Homan's the godfather, family separation.
I mean,
be clear. Zero tolerance is about saving lives. When we figure we start prosecuting people who violate the law and put the children in harm's way, maybe they stop coming. And they did. Numbers went down. It's unfortunate families got separated. But it happens to American families every day. It's going to happen in Albany today, that American family will be separated by law enforcement because the child can't go to jail with a parent.
Right.
But we want to talk about family separation? 500,000 children on Joe Biden were trafficked into this country.
There we go.
They can't find 300,000 of them. That's a separation.
Now, that's the best.
But you know what President Trump's committed? We're going to find them, and we're going to save them, because many of these children are in forced labor, many of these children are in forced sex slavery. We're going to save them. This administration.
Absolutely. That may not have been the clearest, but nonetheless, he's 100% correct. 100% correct. And I also want to tell you something regarding this Mr. Khalil, or whatever his name was. In 1977, there was a case called Skokie. The Ku Klux Klan, or the Klan against Skokie, or Skokie versus Klan. In any event, they wanted to prevent, as you recall, they wanted to prevent there from being this march. And the Supreme Court said, if they're not violent, they can march all day long. Well, this guy can support Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis as long as he doesn't conspire or actually involve himself with and regarding violence. Now, this is immutable. This is absolute truth. Nobody seems to care, and I understand why, because this is a big deal. And I don't know enough of the facts of the case. Maybe I'm sure there's some instances of him actually conspiring to violence, but there is nothing wrong or illegal with espousing an idea, promoting a particular idea regarding a people or whatever it is that we don't like. I can't say that enough. You hear what I'm saying? I can't say that enough. It's that simple. But when the people who are trying to explain your cause, when the people who are trying to help you out, when the people who are there speaking on your behalf act like this, that doesn't help anybody. You see what happens? They don't even want to hear anymore. Say, I don't know, but I hate that guy. Now, whatever this guy is against, I'm against. Okay? Now, one more thing. Let me show you some things which are just fantastic. Some positions. First, before we forget, the president was most eloquent regarding his thoughts on those matters involving transgenders.
Things, and everything's transgender. Everybody transgender. That's all you hear about. Now, that's why we won the election in record numbers. But very importantly, now it is what it is. The Democrats should get with us and come up with good tax policy.
See what he is? Now, he's very, very good about that. Now, let me show you something. I've got coming up a story that is absolutely unreal. This goes to show you remember that group, the Violent Femmes? Well, this is a violent trans, and it was caught on tape, and you will find this shocking. But first, something even more shocking. Listen up, patriots. Just because Donald Trump is back doesn't mean the chaos is over. The world is on edge. Listen carefully. Weather disasters, supply chain failures, labor strikes, economic sabotage, and let's not forget, the radical left is in full meltdown mode. They're not used to losing, and desperate people do desperate things. Capiche? So listen carefully. What happens when the food trucks stop rolling, when grocery store shelves go empty, when power outages leave you in the dark with nothing? You must act now. Prepare. Go to preparewithlionel.com and save $100 on the 3-month emergency food supply. Delicious, nutrient-packed meals that last 25 years. This is not an MRE. This is the world's premier survival food, except no substitutes. If you don't prepare now, you'll regret it. Once disaster strikes, the FEMA lines will be miles long. Will you be standing in them, or will you be safe, ready, and in control? Time is running out. Supplies are vanishing fast. So go to preparewithlionel.com now before it's too late. Now, let me go back and explain a couple of things which I find to be exceedingly and very, very importantly critical for us to explain. I want to show you a couple of things, but first and foremost, before we forget, I want to bring you up to speed regarding the 6th, correct? 6th. Why do I have the 7th? In any event, on May the 6th, I want you to go to Mrs. L's YouTube as well, but her Twitter channel. On May the 6th, we have a fundraiser benefiting the Lynn's Warriors Ensemble at the Cutting Room, a buffet, book signing, dance party, everything there. Go to Lynn's Warriors on X, and right there pinned at the top is what you need to know. I will be there, and it will be an extravaganza, the likes of which supporting education programs. Today, she did this huge webinar with a number of parents and students. Tomorrow, she's going to a school. We're not going to mention where, but we'll talk about that after the fact. There we were one day at the great Goya Food Factory. They're terrific. That's an incredible place. Her work never ends. Never. And you know who it is? Ta-da! You're looking at her. Me, I'm just the assistant. That's it. So anyway, go just to her X account at Lynn's Warriors, right there at the top. There it is. And be there, and let's say hello and have fun and support a great cause. I'll be telling you more about that. Now, let's go and do this right now. Let me show you. This is a fellow. I don't know where he was. Let me give you enough of the information. He was out there, and he was doing his thing. There we go. It was a street preacher in San Francisco. This was an incident that occurred when a transgender person reportedly came up and pulled a gun on a street preacher following a statement about gender roles. The event has sparked discussions on public speech, freedom of expression, and potential safety concerns in public forums, as you can imagine. Social media posts have circulated various reactions, highlighting debates and the like. So here is this fellow, and I want you to see what's going on. And watch this. And thank God thank God there was no shooting, but watch this.
But you need to try less being like somebody you're not and start to humble yourself and be somebody that God made you to be. He didn't make a man to be a woman. He made the man to be a man. He didn't make the woman to be a man. He made the woman to be a woman. And this is the truth. What are you going to do? Come attack me now? I should. Hey, man. It's up to you. If you want to pull that on me, well, God bless you. So you just threatened me with a gun. You just pulled a gun on my face. Man, Lord have mercy on you. This means that you don't even know who you are. Nope, I still love you. Even though you pulled a gun on me, I still love you. I still bless you.
This is a cool character. Now, what do you think about that? That was aggravated assault, depending upon what you are in your jurisdiction. That was clearly actionable. And I hope that somebody somewhere says, we got to get this fellow's name or whatever this thing's name is and find out who they are, because it's one thing for you to object, but to threaten people's lives, that's a different story. But this is the kind of mental illness we're talking about, my dear friends. This is the kind of lunacy that we're talking about. This is the absolute idiocy of this. Now, here's what we're saying, and this is the most important. It is today... day 51 or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what day it is. And it has been, where is it? Do I have this? Let me see. I had this wonderful little, it was great. Let me see. Days, I think it's day 51 days since the inauguration. Days since the inauguration. Here we go. And it is exactly 51 days and 8 hours. Now, let's do an assessment of this. Let's do an assessment. Do you believe that we are winning? Yes. Could we be winning more? Oh, yes. Absolutely. In ways that nobody could ever imagine, we could be winning more. But we are doing terrific. Now, let's talk about what I think, promised you, which I think people love to hate, is Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell is one of the most despicable human beings. She just absolutely, positively have you seen the way she looks when she grinds her teeth? She doesn't smile, she like grinds her teeth. She grinds her teeth. Have you ever heard of these Valsalva maneuver? It's actually maneuver, it's French. The Valsalva maneuver occurs when bearing down or grunting during a bowel movement, increasing intrathoracic pressure, affecting blood flow and sometimes causing dizziness or cardiovascular strain. Things called baryaneurysm sometimes can pop during the and that's what she looks like whenever she's smiling. Like she's in the middle of a painful Valsalva maneuver. And you'll never forget that once I told you that. You'll never forget that. You'll never forget the idea of her doing what I described. So there she is, Rosie O'Donnell, has apparently officially left the United States of America for Ireland. Sorry, Ireland. Sorry about that. And this is just incredible. People are still talking about it. It was like she's gone, but nobody cares. She's like the only one who actually did it. This former TV host, remember, she had a damn good show during the day. It was actually good until Tom Selleck, until she acted like a damn fool and acted the fool. But this self-proclaimed activist, and she packed her bags and her. Didn't she have something wrong with her kid or something? What? One kid? No, it's Maria. Yeah. I know they had some kind of familial problem. I know there was something. That's always it. Hang on a second. Let me see something. That's a terrible thing. 5 kids, all about her sons and daughters. How many biological kids? I know there was some kind of. She left. Let me see. Oh, Rosie O'Donnell's daughter Chelsea arrested after being bailed out by birth mother. I don't know what the hell the story is. Listen, it's tough with your kids. You can't be parents. She's parenting a non-binary child with autism, right? Is that what you're saying? How does a kid with autism know? Maybe they do, that they're non-binary, unless you're telling them that. In any event, maybe that USAID money is going to be, and then I don't know. But there she is, and she is absolutely despised. And the most shocking part about the entire event, the entire saga, is that absolutely nobody cares. I'm talking about it because nobody cares about this. I guess the story is nobody cares about the fact she's leaving. For years, Rosie O'Donnell has threatened to leave the country, whenever things didn't go her way, she was going to go, God damn it, I'm going to leave. Like, okay, I'm leaving. All right, you're leaving. I'm leaving. And she vowed to move to Canada when George W. Bush won. Remember that one? I'm leaving. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave. This is 2004 when he won re-election. She claimed she would pack up and flee when Trump won in 2016. I'm leaving. Go ahead, Rosie, go. She didn't leave. And each time she stayed put. Each time she thought it over and said, well, maybe not. Gracing America with her endless tirades of complete and total whatever. Kind of like Stephen A. Smith. Who was it who ever said Stephen A. Smith had working neurons? But that's me, and I digress. So anyway, she hated everybody. She hated conservatives, hated capitalists, but most important, she hated our beloved leader, our dear leader, Donald Trump. And now in 2025, after apparently realizing that her screeching and yelling and yelping and bleating has lost whatever tiny audience she once had, she finally said, that's it, I'm through, I'm getting out of here. She finally made it good on her promise as she left for Ireland, the Emerald Isle. She's going, and they are so happy. Now, let's be clear, this isn't some dramatic exile, and it's certainly not a great loss, I guarantee you, for us and our country. Rosie O'Donnell is no dissident. She's no political refugee. She's not, I don't know what she is. She's simply a washed up, pain in the ass celebrity that nobody cares about, who is not funny, who doesn't do anything. Let me see if I can explain something. Where's the money? Robert De Niro is a bankable actor. He's got to take these lousy, he's got all these kids and ex-wives, and he's always trying to make money. Plus, I'll bet you, I wouldn't be surprised if he hooked up with those USAID people to hate Trump and do all that stuff. I don't know. Where do you think this money, what money, where does she get this money? Where do you think, how long do you think, nobody likes her, nobody wants her, she doesn't appear anywhere? I don't understand it. Unless she was on that gravy train through some NGO, something, I don't know. But she's fled the country Fled the country that made her who she was. Fled the country that she spent decades slandering for reasons I don't understand. And the difference, which is everything, is that unlike other Hollywood elites who claim that they would abandon ship, when things didn't go their way, she actually did it. She did it. And we say, good riddance. Get the hell out of here. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. Beat it. And it's difficult to pinpoint, no matter how we've done this, to pinpoint exactly when Rosie O'Donnell went from controversial media figure to an irrelevant has-been that people despise. She is in that same category of, I'm being very fair. Can you think of anybody that we have on our side, and I'm going to say it our side, who is equivalent to Alec Baldwin or Kathy Griffin or Rosie O'Donnell or Joy Behar? Seriously. Who is, Kid Rock? No. Who was a Rosie O'Donnell of the right? Seriously. Anybody? I don't think there is one. Somebody who's really obnoxious. Somebody where you got to say, ooh, take it easy there, pal. I don't think there is one. I know there are people they don't like. I know that. But Alec Baldwin, Robert De Niro, Rob Reiner, Bette Midler, those types who scream and they're nasty, nasty. Who? Can you think of any? I can't. How dare you? I don't know. Oh, Ted Nugent? Ted, could be, maybe. Ted's very literate in his protest stations. I don't know. These people are just vile and nasty, profane. Robert De Niro. It's horrible. Don't be surprised if the USAID money is, and they're trying to burn all the records. You see, somewhere between her public feuds with President Trump and her increasingly and incredibly unhinged, I guess, social media, I don't know what she does, America simply stopped listening to her. They didn't know it's over. Mrs. L's heard this a million times. She's the Rula Lenska of our time. When I was a kid, it was this commercial for VO5. Alberto VO5 goes, "Hello, I'm Rula Lenska. And when I go out, I said, who the hell's Rula Lenska?" I asked my mother, because I didn't know as a kid. Who's Rula Lenska? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? She's famous. Hello, darling. And she comes out of the stage door and she's signing autographs and the flash bulbs and the Klieg lights. And who's Rula Lenska? I don't know. So that's always been my joke about Rula Lenska. That's kind of what this is, I guess. Nobody knows what she does. And once upon a time, I'm telling you, Rosie O'Donnell was a prominent daytime person. Her show was terrific. She loved Broadway. She had people on. She sang the songs. Remember, she had Broadway Kids, and she was really good. Remember one time she had the Sticks, I don't know if Kevin, what's his name, was on, or Kevin or Ed, whatever his name was, the lead singer. Babe, I'm leaving. And then it was a Tom Selleck thing. That's when it went downhill, about his gun control position. She had some very interesting 9/11 Building 7 stuff. It was very good. Very good. With Hasselbeck. But she turned out to be just despicable. And that changed when she decided that her career would be better spent, hurling invectives and vitriol and attacks and ad hominems at conservatives, alienating half the country. You hear what I'm saying? And transforming herself into this poster child for Hollywood's, whatever it is, far left. Nobody. Rob Reiner didn't leave. Barbara Streisand didn't leave. Nobody left. She left. If that's true. Now, of course, here's the story. That was really the highlight of her descent. And it got really, really personal. And the insults escalated into a full-blown, crazy public meltdown. She lost her mind. And as President Trump rose to political prominence, as he made it up, Rosie went from being a once popular, pretty seriously TV personality to this deranged political activist screaming and yelling like some fool in the corner, howling at the moon. some weird activist for something who seemed incapable of discussing anything other than her hatred for Donald Trump. She talked about, I got to leave because it's terrible. Look outside. What are you talking about? Things are terrific. Today we went by, was it today? Where did we drive? Oh yeah, this morning. Went by the Watson Hotel on 57th Street. Nobody there. This place, it looked like they're gone. They are gone. We got to see if the ladies are on West Side Highway selling the candy and the papaya and all this stuff. It is demonstrably and palpably better. And when Trump was busy winning elections and reshaping American politics and winning the hearts and minds of everybody, Rosie was out there busy throwing flame throwing and tantrums and social media and screaming and yelling and staging these really embarrassing, cringeworthy protests that nobody seemed to be caring about or paying attention to, and embarrassing herself to the point where people said, Rosie, please, like Alec Baldwin did. That's why they turned their back on Alec Baldwin. Even that Chidrul, that wife of his, who goes from English to Spanish, yo call it cucumber. And now she's gone. And instead of the dramatic headline-making departure, goodbye cruel world, that she maybe envisioned, she left quietly and nobody cared. No grand exit, no heroic farewell tour, no valedictory, no nothing, no sayonara, nothing. Just a move to Ireland and see you later. A country she apparently believes will offer her the kind of a utopian progressive paradise, I guess, that she's been searching for. I guess. And she says, my grandparents were from Ireland. So what? Well, according to O'Donnell, she's long dreamed of moving to the country and embracing her Irish roots. You're an American. What Irish roots? I remember one time somebody said, there was some black comic who said, Africa? I don't know the first thing about Africa. The brother man in the motherland. Remember Shaft in Africa? I don't want to go to Africa. Do you want people who say, well, Ireland? You're not Irish. Can you really handle this? They have this romantic connection. And you know what? That's all well and good, but let's not kid ourselves. Let's focus on what's happening here. This isn't about heritage. This is about fleeing a country that has completely and utterly and totally rejected her. This is about escaping the reality that, the reality that no longer holds any sway in the political or entertainment world. That's what this is about. That's what we're talking about. And Ireland, I guess, maybe there's a leftward shift in recent years. I don't know. I probably not. Maybe it's a simple ideological home for somebody like her. Who knows? But if she thinks that she'll be embraced as some sort of American political exile, she's in for the shock of her life. A rather rude awakening, my friend. The people of Ireland, and this is important, the people of Ireland have their own problems to deal with. And the arrival of some washed-up has-been, some self-important know-it-all, some mean, nasty termagant, some, I don't know what. Did you see today when she said, she referred to herself as, hi, this is Rosie O'Donnell, star of The Flintstones? 31 years ago? The Flintstones? Star? It's demeaning. Does Al Pacino have to say, hi, I'm Al Pacino? The Godfather, Carlito's Way and the Scarface, it's kind of like you're saying, maybe there's another person who looks like this. She's brought us so much pleasure, though, but nobody like Joy Behar. I would take Rosie O'Donnell back to get rid of Joy Behar. Joy Behar is, because let me tell you something. Rosie O'Donnell is at least smart. She is smart. You may not like what she has to do. Joy Behar is mean and old and stupid. Not that the old part's a problem, but there's a pleasant old, there's the Oliver Wendell Holmes old, and then there's that. Will there ever be a serious clinical study of TDS? I think under a different name, I think there will be. Why not Canada versus Ireland for Rosie? maybe DJT annexes. By the way, remember, they're coming at President Trump as though he is making a big mistake regarding the tariffs. Don't believe that for a moment. Don't believe that for a moment. He knows exactly what he's doing. And it will work out perfectly. And by the way, one more thing before Rosie, if Rosie O'Donnell was expecting, again, this outpouring of grief and histrionics and this lugubrious funereal, no, don't go, or some national debate over her departure, she's got a brutal dose of reality instead. And that's exactly what's happening right now. There were no trending hashtags, no heartfelt farewell, none of this stuff. None of this stuff. No mainstream media campaigns begging her to stay. That's the best part. The reaction to her exit, the reaction to her valedictory, so to speak, was a resounding, deafening silence. I think the word is crickets. And that silence speaks volumes. And let that be a lesson to everybody else. America has moved on. The America she talks about, she doesn't live in. The media landscape has changed tremendously. People aren't tuning in to hear her ilk anymore. It doesn't make any sense. They're not listening. They don't care about her. It's the most important thing I can tell you. They don't care about her. They're more interested in actual political developments, real discussions, real conversation, so to speak, about the future of the country and the leaders who actually matter. You see, we need her because we need to say, don't be a Rosie O'Donnell. Don't be a Rosie O'Donnell. Big Dickie Daniels says, celebrate you, New Yorkers, have a slice on me. Thank you, Big Dick. And I mean that sincerely. You're a tremendous human being, a truck driver. Don't forget, if you got it, a truck brought it. That's an old expression which makes probably more sense today than ever. Don't you love when people just don't get it? Don't you love today? And I want you to think about this after we are done this evening. I want you to ask, who is the voice? Who is maybe, like who's, maybe Candace, I don't know, Candace Owen, does she come across? Maybe to other people, I don't know. I don't know who is the Rosie O'Donnell of the right. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any clue. But here's the thing that I'm finding, that Americans, people I'm talking to, are completely different than they were after 4 years of Biden. Now, they may not know it. They may not be able to say or to articulate specifically, here's what I feel. I am a conservative. No. But they realize the hell that we've been through. They recognize this. Have you noticed this as well? Have you noticed that the TDS is less? Yes or no? Do you notice, do you grasp that the Trump-derangement syndrome has, have you noticed that, honey? I don't notice it as much. No. I mean, there's always going to be somebody somewhere who it defined them. I'm not seeing it. I am absolutely not seeing it. Because what's happening is that people are saying, first of all, this isn't as bad as we thought. And these people all of a sudden look stupid. Do you remember, ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I was in high school, all we wanted to do was long hair. It was the most important, long hair. Thought it was great. And they said, please, and we were in high school, very strict. You can't touch your collar and all this stuff. So finally we got out of college. And all of a sudden, or out of high school, and then it changed. All of a sudden, nobody had the long hair. Remember that 70s look where you kind of had the fuller hair and you had a hot comb and you blew it out? Nobody did that anymore. It just changed. It just changed. Oh, there were a few mustaches. Have you noticed mustaches? And I know some of you will say, we're never going to get rid of TDS. I know we're not. But if you mean to tell me that you don't notice an appreciable difference, a lessening, a diminution after January 20th, Cut Up says, why can't more people learn from observation rather than loss? You don't have to experience the worst to learn. You should write fortune cookies. These are absolutely profound. Right, Big Dickie, Daniel says, probably more worldwide, more than ever, than in the U.S. Probably more worldwide now than ever than the U.S. What is probably more worldwide? TDS? I doubt it. Absolutely not. They love this guy. No, it is profoundly better. And I'm in the epicenter here. They've almost like resolved them. They've almost said, well, what are you going to do? Too many people are changing over. No, there's always going to be somebody who says something. There's always going to be there's always going to be the hippie somewhere, but I'm talking about something that is major. And that's why the president has to absolutely, here's my speech. He better hit that accelerator and not stop. I don't want them to be able to stop with all that's going on. USAID, did you see that? They're burning stuff. They should have marshals or the 82nd Airborne going and seizing that building. Did you hear when Alex Jones is saying it? General Flynn, there have been threats on his life. Bring this up. You had this poor employee or co-worker of his, this writer. My New Zealand friends have it all twisted after Elon broke USAID. Remember, there are some people who aren't really going to get it. They're going to be saying that Trump is going to destroy Social Security. Nothing could be further from the truth. By the way, further, not farther. Farther is something you can actually measure in distance. Further is everything else. And one of you said, I worry about the president's safety. Absolutely. I don't even know why he has to be in Washington this much. I don't know why he just didn't stay in Mar-a-Lago. I don't know why he needs to even be there. The auto pen story is one of the most important things ever. How many times Trump loves to sign things. Have you noticed that? He loves his signature. He loves the big pen. We have one of ours, a pen for he loves doing that. Loves it. Just loves it. Auto pen and Joe Biden? What are we going to hear about that? When are we going to have Fauci brought up? Look, I love everybody. Bobby Kennedy, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem. That's good. They were great at first. We're going to go on raids. There's even Tulsi Gabbard. I'm going to go. We're going to wheels up. She calls it wheels up. Right? And you did a fantastic job explaining that in the past few weeks. Thank you, sir. They're just doing a lot of stuff. Here I am, wheels up. Okay. Kash Patel, what are you doing? Kash, I'm going to see something every single day put out. And Pam Bondi, by virtue of the Epstein thing, you really have to act most expeditiously on this. You really have to act. I can't say it enough. They want something from you, and I hope you recognize how important this is. Listen to what I'm saying. You've got to do, you don't know how this thing is. I would have a list. I would every single day. I want to see people. It was great seeing Tom Homan. Tom Homan certainly loves to do this. Big Dick says the Ropers analogy. Ah, yes. Whenever you want to change the subject. Why did they cancel the Ropers? Why? So we have so much to be thankful for, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, if I did things, I would have it all worked out. And you would not see me with my hat on. You would not see me going with pretending to be I know they were military, but I'm with the 82nd Airborne. I'm with the 1st Marine Division. Here I am. I don't do that stuff. No. I would love to sit there and say, I want to be there when the arrests take place. I want to stand up. I want to say, I dare. The word is out. We have to tell people they're not coming in. I also want to see, where are they here? Where are they here? I want to round these people up. Now remember something. Remember one thing. This is the most important story. I want you to remember me saying this. This is the message I want to hear. Don't come to the United States unless you've got your ducks in a row and you're ready to go. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't, even if you bring your family, you got a job. How about some people, 20 years they've been here. You never saw it. You never even worked on it. Never. 20 years? They will send you back. No matter how many kids you've got, they will send. Don't come here. I'm telling you. Don't they'll scream and yell. They don't care. If you want to do it, here's how you do it. You go to the consulate, you go here's an app, fill out your information. There are people all the time. We have these, and the president, by the way, has to always have more of these ceremonies where people swear in, when they swear in their citizenship, and the president has to come and either invite them to the White House or surprise them, maybe for safety. Emphasize this. I want them to be overwhelmed. Nothing about Teslas. I don't want to hear about Teslas. And I want the president to answer one question. Where are these astronauts? I don't understand this. Elon, where are they? This is where we really need you. The hell with the Tesla. How do we get these people back? Do you know what they're going to be? This woman, her bones, she's had no gravity. Do you know what this does to you? Forget osteoporosis. This is horrible. Why are they not brought back? Why aren't we talking about them? And if I was a president, I'd say, God damn it, where are they? Bring them back. And I would say, and I'd want people to say, that's the president I love. This is ridiculous. This other stuff, this is nice. This morning we're having the breakfast with the head of Ireland. Oh, give me this. One of the most ridiculous things that we do is St. Patrick's Day. Irish people don't know anything about it in Ireland. They don't do that. They do it here. In New York years ago, oh my God, 10, 50, oh man, you have never seen anything like it. Days, they would go days at pubs, no chairs, no glass. I mean, it was wild. Those days are over with. And the parade and all that stuff. I've spoken enough. Ladies and gentlemen, stick with me and what I'm telling you. I'm telling you the truth. This is a great president and a great man and a great, great leader. And he needs to fine-tune these things. I don't want to waste. I want everybody to say, what did you do today, Pam and Bobby? That was absolutely earth-shattering. What did you do? We prepared the documents to subpoena Fauci. Good. When is he going to appear? Did you get a hold of Jordan? Good. What next? What are we going to do? Stop this. What are we going to do? No more Tesla talk. That's enough about that. What are we going to do? I love that. Elon, I love you. Love the kid. That's beautiful. Now we got to move on. That shit's getting old. Whenever you get used to something, you got to move it. You got to change it. Change the song. Change the tunes in the jukebox. Enough. Different rotation. We need something new. We need something better. You know who I think is better? By the way, do you know who asked that great question the other day? We were talking about, what was I saying? Remember when she was talking about the auto pen? It was from Mike Lindell TV or Mike Lindell. Our good friends at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's where he was. That was the best question there was. It was from Mike Lindell TV or something. I loved it. It was the best question there was. That I like. I like Caroline Levitt. I think she's terrific. She is a ball buster. Rompece culone. I mean, man, smashing them. Okay? All right. Even Lutkin, you see him? He was slap. They're great. Let me see if I can just explain this. The media are wonderful. Great hit on Fox. That's a given. Great hit on CNBC. Great hit here. Great. That's not what we're here for. We weren't elected to go on TV and to have great interviews. We've got to go in there and absolutely destroy these people. Do I make myself clear? I think so. You know what I mean? All right, dear friends. All right, so listen, make sure you go to Mrs. L's X. And you also have to follow her. For some reason, we need to get our followers. You got to go and sign her up at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. I don't know what they do. She puts up stuff that's like the most wonderful videos, and they'll say, demonetize. No, it's like, wait, what? There's nothing. She doesn't. She's so sweet. She's never said a foul, nothing. Protecting each other. I don't know how that algorithm works. So we need your help. Lynn's Warriors for kids. She doesn't do stuff about, hey, isn't it great? And let's talk about, whatever. All right, my friends. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Why? Because we got an early morning. We've got Warriors business to do, my friends. So 7 a.m. we're going to be with you in the morning. Okay? All right. You have a great and a glorious night. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, my friends, before I forget, let me thank Big Dick Daniels. Big Dick, thank you. Cut Up Chatter. George Keane, ladies and gentlemen, with his mean machine. Kelly McKinnon and JTE. Thank you so much. Have a great and a glorious night. We'll see you tomorrow. And until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dad.